So, Maria, we finally have the sixth package of sanctions. What's in it?
Yes, Danny, and it was a month in the making. If you remember, it was at the start of May that Ursula von der Leyen said the European Union would now move to ban oil coming in from Russia into the European Union. Now, when you look at the package that was agreed yesterday on a technical level, remember, European leaders had already signed on to it on Tuesday from the political perspective. But if you look at the technical details here, not a lot has changed. The European Union is making a distinction between seaborne oil, pipeline oil. Of course, there's some exceptions going into the pipeline, but overall, the ambition is to cut down Russian oil imports by 90% at the end of the year, so by the end of 2022. Now, Danny, there has been a lot of talk, a lot of headlines dedicated to Viktor Orban in Hungary. But again, if you take a 360 view on this, I think for me, the real takeaway is not so much Viktor Orban. This is a drop in the ocean when it comes to the global energy market. It really is this push from the European Union to say, when it comes to Europe, Russia is going to lose its A-star status as an energy provider. Remember, for decades, that was the way Russia not only made money, but also obtained political leverage through the energy conversation. For the Europeans now, they say openly, it is not a reliable provider, and we don't want to work with Russia anymore. The big question, however, remaining is what happens with gas. There has been, again, some pushback over the past 2 days from a number of European countries that say we've taken a lot of measures. Now it's time to take a breather before we even talk about gas.
We also, at the same time, Maria, have this rather bleak milestone. It's the 100th day of this war. President Zelensky, he's painting a grim picture of the fighting on the east. What's the state of play on the ground?
Yeah, and it's 100 days. And Danny, this is a war that is happening in Central Europe. I mean, for Europeans, politically, it's very hard to stomach. This is happening in our own continent. Now, when you look at President Zelensky yesterday, you're right, he painted what to me was a very grim picture of the situation. He says that overall, when you look at Russian troops, but also Russian separatists, Russian-backed separatists in Ukraine, they now control 20% of the country's territory. Now, this essentially what it means is that in 2022, Russia, a country by force, is now successfully, to some extent in the east, redrawing the territorial lines of another sovereign country. So that is a political dilemma here. The other thing that Zelensky mentioned too is the internal damage this has done for Ukrainians. He says there's about 12 million Ukrainians that have been internally displaced. He also talked about 5 million women and children that have left the country over the past 100 days. I mean, again, repeated and reiterated what is his perennial call: the country needs more weapons if it wants to defend itself against Russia.